Yo, what is up guys and welcome back to the channel. Today we've got another review on a Prime Icon. We've got Prime Icon 91 rated Patrick Kluivert. We're going to be going through the card, his details, stats, clips and summary. Before we get into all of that, if I could ask you guys to please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell so you know when I upload. Comment down below who you'd like to replace on the list with this card name. This one did come from a comment which will pop up somewhere above my head. And without further ado, let's get into the video. So guys, this is the team that I used 91 Patrick Kluivert in. I played him of course at the head of the attack in this 4-2-3-1 with Hadji, Toko Ekambi and Ronaldo in behind. I did sub some other wingers in like Robin to give him a bit of a better option when playing it out wide as well. And overall my first impressions of this card, guys, is actually this card is really good at creating chances, but taking them he is really not up to scratch. I feel like he's a bit slow in terms of taking his chances, or just not accurate enough with taking his chances as well. But without further ado, let's get into the card itself. 6'2", high-low work rate, is right-footed, 4-star swing moves and 4-star weak foot, so already fantastic there in terms of capability and in terms of work rates, in terms of height. Just a great build for a striker in the old style, you know, big, powerful, strong, reasonable pace, good shooting, passing and decent dribbling on the face of the card. 7 games played, 6 goals scored and no assists, so not a bad return, guys. I am now in Division 2. I have been getting some really bad gameplay recently and playing horrible football, so this is 6 goals in Division 2 now. Not a bad return. I would have expected a few more given the chances that I did create with him, but overall I think it's not a bad return either. In terms of chemistry style, guys, I put a Hunter on him, I also put an Engine on him, and I also tried a Hawk on him. However, guys, I think the Hunter is the one that you need to go with, or maybe something else that boosts his shooting, because honestly, guys, that's the factor for me that needs it the most, which is really surprising. And it was surprising initially, sorry, but when I get into it more, I understand why that is. So, guys, getting into the key pros of the card. 92 attack positioning, absolutely sensational. 88 ball control, absolutely brilliant. 86 strength, 91 jumping and 92 heading accuracy. Those, as well as, sorry, the 92 shot power, really fantastic there as well. Guys, those are really the key pros of this card. I thought this card was fantastic in terms of his overall attacking play and ability to create chances as well. His short passing is great as well, which just is really nice to have a striker who can link up the play so well. And I created a number of chances with this card, but unfortunately, guys, the cons of this card held it back too much. And the biggest con of this card, which really doesn't help it at all, is that 79 composure, especially for a striker. I really struggled to convert chances with him at times. I created the space, it was ready to be slotted in, and the finish just wasn't good enough at times, and that really did hold this card back from being an excellent card in my opinion for value for coin. His long shots are low, guys, but I feel like the way that this card plays and the way you should use him, especially with a big body and good amount of strength, you can roll defenders quite easily and then play in the box a lot better. So long shots aren't really something that I was trying to do with this card. His agility and balance is a little low, however, I don't really feel like I was that affected by it. I felt like I could still move relatively well, and his speed wasn't too bad either, especially with that Hunter applied. He played very quickly and well for me in that department. Again, guys, the only con of this card, and it's sad to say for a striker of such quality, but the only con of the striker card for this Kluivert was the composure. Getting into the traits, he's got the flair trait, outside the foot shot trait, and the power header trait. So again, all lovely traits to have, especially in a striker. The power header trait is definitely evident. He does get his head on the ball an awful lot of goal kicks and corners, so it's very nice to have that as well. The flair trait's a nice one to have, but I would be careful with how you use this, because his overall movement, whilst I found it okay, is still slightly clunky, so you do need to be careful with how you're playing these passes. Also, the foot shot trait is nice to have, but you do have 4-star weak foot, so you have no qualms about hitting it with the left foot. It's just nice to have that trait as well. Finally, guys, this is the icon profile. I will leave this for you guys to read in your own time, and without further ado, let's get into some of the clips that I got with him. So guys, getting into some of Prime Icon Patrick Kluivert's clips, and what you guys are going to see here is just his overall ability to create goals. Now, the one thing I loved over and over again about this Patrick Kluivert card was how strong he was compared with that technical capability. He was so easily able to roll defenders, create chances for me or for his teammates, and do good things with the ball. I really did love how this card played. I do think, guys, though, and we'll talk about this con for the most part, is that his composure holds him back so much. This card literally does have it all, and that composure really just stops him from being not an elite striker, but a very good striker in that Crespo bracket. with those Henrik Larssons, with those Mark van Bastens, because he really can do it all apart from the finishing element, and that's so bad to say. As you guys can see, some of these chances that he's missing, my shock at him missing them is half of the surprise there. But overall, guys, I just think he did have a lot of those where he just missed easy chances for me, and I don't understand why they've given him such poor composure. Now maybe that is obviously a reflection of real life, but I loved everything about this card apart from that, and therefore I couldn't really use him as well as I wanted to because I couldn't rely on his finishing. Getting into the rest of his playmaking though, guys, I would say phenomenal in doing that. His attack positioning, his running, his willingness to run as well is fantastic. And his ability to pass the ball, pretty good. His ability to dribble with the ball was very good as well, considering how big he is as well. He is a tall striker, he is a strong striker. You wouldn't be expecting that kind of speed out of a striker like that, but there it is again, able to show you just that movement, ability to change his feet around, sleight of foot there, and getting into good goal scoring positions. Now guys, as you guys can see, he didn't miss all the chances that he was given. He did score a fair few chances. This one, of course, a bit of an easy one for him, but look at that pace burst there to get away from the defender and then score an easy chance. He did score goals for me, guys, and I'm not saying that he won't score goals for you. What I'm saying is that I did find it a bit of a struggle given the composure that was lacking on this card. In these last couple of clips, guys, you're going to see another couple of decent finishes. This final one here, a lovely turn, play the ball in there, getting the ball back again on that run and smashing it into the back of the net. So guys, getting into this final Patrick Kluivert summary, 387 on the PlayStation, 335 on the Xbox, 580 on the PC. Now guys, the key stats of this card, of course, the positioning, the finishing, the shot power were really great. Unfortunately, that finishing aspect was put off by his 79 composure. That really did put me off a lot with this card. He's got fantastic jumping and heading as well, and decent short and long passing too for a striker. You're able to link up play very well with him. You would think the agility and the balance would be a bit of a con, but I didn't find that held him back too much. I found it pretty decent, and he's able to turn reasonably well with that as well. Combine that with a reasonable amount of pace which you can boost, you've got yourself a player that can really create chances well here. It's just such a shame about that composure. It really does play to the detriment of this card. In terms of recommended chemistry style, guys, because his shooting is decent and it's not going to get any better even if you try to improve it, I wouldn't focus on improving that shooting because that composure is going to hold him back. I would maybe focus on improving the player in general, maybe stick an engine on him so that would allow his passing to get better, his pace and his dribbling, make a better overall playmaker. I do think that's the way to go, although normally you would want to boost a striker in terms of striking. I don't think that's the best way to go with this card because that composure does hold him back so much. That would be my recommendation there. Look at something else to boost because he will finish those easy chances that you'll get with him, but you won't be able to take anything difficult on. In terms of similar players, guys, he's a big striker, he's a strong, tall striker as well. He's able to pass the ball reasonably well. So again, I don't think he's dissimilar from Romelu Lukaku in many regards. However, I do think his pace and dribbling element is a bit better than this card. Overall, guys, I would say that he plays very similarly actually to it's a cross between the Miroslav Klose and the a more pacey striker in there, maybe David Trezeguet, a cross between those two where the pace is reasonable but the shooting is a bit better than Klose, of course, and the passing is a bit better. He's really a style of icon which is nice to have because he's a little bit different from those icons that are bigger, stronger strikers, and that he's able to move a little better, create a little better, play better football as well. But overall, guys, again, we keep going back to it. It is the composure that lets him down. In terms of linkability, of course, he is an icon, so links to a whole bunch of players as well as a whole bunch of Dutch players that you've got across various leagues that he will strong link to. Finally, guys, in terms of my final recommendation, guys, if we look at where this icon sits in terms of price, he does sit right down here at the bottom of the other strikers. We're only going to look at icons for this comparison. He sits just above Ruud van Nistelrooy, who will be coming up in a review soon, which I'm not looking forward to trying now, having seen this price, but regardless, we'll persist with it. He's below Gary Lineker. I would say that's a fair point for him to be at. I do not think he's in this next echelon of striker where the Marco van Bastens, Gary Lineker, Andrei Shevchenko and Michael Owens are. I do think he's in that lower tier. Even not quite as low as Alan Shearer. I do think he's better than him. He's able to create a lot more than Alan Shearer, but I do think he's sitting in that sort of area with Ian Rush, where he's good at a couple of things but not good at what he's supposed to be good at, or not good at enough to be considered a better player than where he's currently sitting. I think that this is a very fair price, and overall, guys, if my final recommendation was to come out of that, I would not recommend buying this card. This is not a hidden diamond amongst the icons. I do think there are some in there. I just haven't found too many of them yet, but this definitely isn't one. I 100% don't think he's worth that price. I would just let it drop off a little more, guys. And to be honest, I wouldn't buy this card if I was going to recommend it at all. I know some people will obviously love this card, and that's totally your opinion. I completely understand that. But for me, that composure is just too much to deal with. I couldn't have a striker that couldn't finish chances, and my memory and my nostalgia of Patrick Kluivert is clouding my judgment here as to whether I would buy him or not. Of course, I love Kluivert in real life, but this card just isn't good enough for me up front. Not worth that icon price tag. Hope you guys did enjoy this review. If you did, please do smash that like button. And until next time, I will see you all in a bit.